Nice band shirt.
Yeah, it's taken some wear. I like the band merch, man. Like if I go to one of the bigger shows, I try to grab something, a little memory. There you go. Yeah, that's what's up. I those guys hit me out of left field when I saw them out there at the Halloween thing.
Oh yeah.
That like I was just like, well, I mean, I kind of saw a little bit of their feed on Facebook, a couple here and there, but man, I went up to them, I was like, bro, I'm a fan. Straight up.
Yeah, they were kind of the ones that got me back into going to shows and recording stuff. So,
Word.
all right. How the hell am I going to start this off? I have to go through the head and figure it all out. It's always fun.
Well, sure.
I'm Red Beard the Hippy, and I'm here with Trevor from Sin&Scars, a band based out of McPherson, Kansas, which is a little podunk town. I had to look up to make sure where you guys were from.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Because I know it's one of those where you got one band member from here, one band member from here, and just everybody's kind of.
We at one time we're all hubbed out of here, the McPherson. The other front man, Matt Sykes, he's out of Oklahoma now, and we kind of. You got to take into account that 5 guys that have their own families and their own time schedules and their own lives, trying to peel out time to do the band thing. It's
Oh yeah, especially.
monumentally difficult.
Oh yeah, I fully get that one, especially with like kids and family, and it's okay.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
are you going to this show? No, I can't. I got kid's birthday this weekend. Or you going here?
Yeah.
No, it's kid's wedding. I can't go to it. Or just
But I
everything
do
like
feel a
that.
swell happening, man. I feel it. These shows are getting bigger. More people are coming to them. There's more support. I see online stuff happening, and Music Fest popping off here and they're all across the Midwest from north to south.
Oh yeah,
Things are happening. It's really
I've already
cool.
got. Let's see. I know in Nebraska, I've already been invited to. I think it's one in September. I've got one in Kansas that I know of that I've already been asked to attend in like October. I know of one in February that I'm being asked to go to, or that I'm going
Yeah.
to. That's a benefit show that's always fun because there's always tons of bands on it, and I
Yeah.
think I've seen 3
Yeah,
or 4
that's
of
what
them
I love the
already.
most is that's really what I love the most about the live shows is just going there and meeting everybody and hi, how are you, and meet, new bands that you've never heard of before, and you find get on there like, oh,
Oh
just that
yeah.
fresh music nobody's
Well,
ever heard before, that new.
oh yeah, and then being able to like with me being able to record stuff and post it, it gives bands a different opportunity because
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah, those
it's
videos are solid. I dig those. They're all over my feed now.
yeah, and I'm Nebraska, Kansas. I try to get down to Kansas as much as I can, but man, work schedules are a pain in the ass when
Yeah.
you're doing 6 days. And people are like, "Can you make it down to Wichita?" I mean, that's a 5 hour drive, and I already did an 8 hour shift. What time's the
Yeah.
show start? Noon. Fuck, really? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Give me some heads up, at least a little bit. All right, so
Well, so
oh, go ahead.
no, I say that's what we're all about. It is being kind of being prompt, especially with other people's time. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to wait on us. We're going to be early. We're going to be ready, hungry.
Oh, that's the way to do it, especially with like I know with being in the music scene so long in Kansas, it was like if the show starts at 9, it might start at 9, 9:15, 10 o'clock.
Right.
Lately, it's like the show starts at 9 o'clock. It's like 9 o'clock, and they're going. And it's like, oh, this is a whole different ball game. So I got to make sure that I'm early. I can't kind of fiddle fart around doing what I'm doing. So,
Yeah. As it progresses and the scene becomes kind of more established, those times become more like right on the nose. It's not so out of pocket anymore. And you'll have more bands showing up to a single show now instead of just 1 or 2. You got 3, 4, maybe try and stack 5 in there tonight.
oh yeah,
So it's
that's
popping off, and I dig it.
oh yeah, especially like the all day festivals. I'm one of those people. Like even when I was in the bands, it's like I showed up first band and I stayed till the last band. There's only been a few times that I've had to leave early because well, one one I left early because there was a storm coming through, but I caught like half the set and was like, guys, I got to take off. There's a storm coming. I got an hour and a half drive, man. I got to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
But I've never understood people that'll, like, I get the all day fest. They're long as hell and they're grueling to be at all day. But
It's kind of an endurance challenge. Yeah,
especially like I went to, I think it was the Flint Hills Metal Fest. And like where I was
yeah,
recording,
that's something I've.
I found an air conditioning vent, so I was recording everything standing under the air conditioning vent.
Yeah,
And
there you
about
go.
halfway through the day, I'm like, I've been drinking water all day and I haven't taken a piss yet. I was
Yeah, yeah,
so damn dehydrated, but I hit, I think, like 3 videos for every band and photos and just trying to
yeah,
do
yeah.
the best that
You
I
was all
can.
over. There's lots
Oh,
of stuff out there on Flint Hills Metal Fest that covers on my feed. But I've been trying to crack that door. It'll happen. But we're kind of new to it, man. We started this thing mid to late 2018, and we just kind of stayed in the shadows. We just got our songs ready and got enough. We didn't want to come out there and go, well, we got 3 or 4 songs. That's it.
yeah.
We wanted to be able to come out and swing with the big boys or
Because I
do the
know
best
I
we
saw
can.
one show you guys within the last like 6 months. It was a Wichita show with Love Like War.
Right at the Muse, yeah.
Yeah,
And I think uh, 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 what was the other guys that were there? Man, why can't that?
yeah.
It
I'm
slipped my mind.
my news feed is so many different shows and so many different bands, and it's like, okay, I
But
know.
yeah, the last one was at the Muse in Wichita with Love Like Water and a few other guys. That was cool. That was kind of our first real show. So we
Yeah.
haven't gotten out there and gotten a lot of foot on the street time, but that's coming.
Oh, I bet. I know you guys are on my. I have lists of bands that I want to see, and then stuff like that, where it's like at the beginning of the year, it's like, okay, who do I want to see? Obviously, there's those bands that you're friends with that you always make sure you catch their shows. Where it's Love
Right,
Like
right, right.
War, Diabolical, Imagine when I can catch them. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
try to get down to
Yeah, they're
Wichita,
badass.
but though that trek's I think it's like 5 hours for me to get down there.
Yeah.
So if I can catch like more of a festival type thing, I'd hit Wichita. But a weekend for three
Oh, right,
bands
right.
is especially with gas prices being as ridiculous as they are. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna spend $30 this weekend and go way the hell over
Yeah.
there.
A little bit, yeah. You really want to plan it and kind of get the most for your money at an event instead of just busting down and just getting a couple hours. You want to. I can see where it would be an advantage of wanting to go to like a festival or a over the weekend thing.
Well, then you catch more bands and you get to see way more music than
Oh yeah,
5 hours and get there and you're already like I went and saw I think it was Kinder, Esperwinds, and Illyria back at the end of October before the Spooky Hill Metal Fest. And like
right.
by the time I got there, like at the end of the night, I thought I'd taken pictures of Illyria. I didn't take a single picture of them, and I felt so bad that I wasn't able to. But I'd already done like a 60-hour week in a factory setting, so I was beat. And I'm just like, okay, I got the one song recorded, or it's really fun when the alarms go off at a show and you go, what the? Oh, it's my normal time to wake up.
Right, right. Well, I mean that's what we do. We go out and we exhaust ourselves and run the gauntlet because that's what it takes.
Well, you
And
have it's a lifestyle. Like you're either
yeah,
in it or you're not. And like I get people showing up to shows and be like, hey, I'm tired, I'm taking off. Okay, cool, whatever. Thanks for showing up, thanks for coming out. But
um,
like the band guys and the people that do this kind of stuff, it's okay, we're Iron Man in this. I don't care if I've had 4 hours of sleep. I need 2 coffees, 3 Red Bulls, and you want anything
yeah,
to
yeah,
drink? Nah, man, I'm trying to stay up. I don't want to come down yet.
yeah. I don't know, man. Some of those bigger shows, I don't even. I used to have a drink or two. Not so much anymore. Like
I
I don't know, man. Like I don't know. It just kind of puts things out of place for me. I want to remember what I'm watching. I want to,
the lifestyle change where like 20-year-old us is like, yeah, let's go get fucked up, and now it's like, you want to get fucked up? Nah, man. DUIs are expensive.
There's consequences.
Let's see what my bank account says. Well, I can pay rent or I can get drunk. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and pay rent. I'll take a water. Especially with like
yeah,
out of town plates or out of state plates, people are just like you'll get pulled over just for the hell of it.
yeah. A lot of times having non-local tags will get you pulled over.
Oh yeah, I, I,
Best not to.
yeah, and then it's well, why do you look tired? Because I just did a 10-hour show. I recorded. Here, let me get my laptop out. This is everything I did right now. So, are you from around here? I'm not from around here. All right. Well, we have rules. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not from around here anymore. I lived in the area for like 30 years, but and you said one band member was from Oklahoma. Are the rest of you guys local or?
Yeah, yeah. The rest of us are still here in town at Mac. Matt and his wife moved down to Oklahoma about a year and a half ago or so for job opportunities, and they're doing well down there. So,
Oh well,
but
yeah.
um,
That's the biggest thing is.
having the internet, being able to communicate back and forth, email stuff back and forth, that's really made it possible. It wouldn't be possible to have guys spread out and making that band happen as a small local band. It just, yeah, the chances of success are low. But now we can, I can messenger just like we're doing, here I can messenger and call those guys, and everybody can be on board, and I can, everybody's got their own demo recording that we practice on our own times, and we just get together and make the most of what we can with the time that we have when we get it. But having all that at our disposal separately is a foundation to be able to keep it going.
Oh, and it's yeah, especially now with like you said with the internet, where you're like we're doing an online interview and you're in Mac and I'm in Nebraska. So I
Right,
mean,
right.
we couldn't do this stuff like 10, 15 years ago. Well, probably because none of us knew how
Yeah.
the hell to do any of it.
Well, it has its ups and downs. um well, one weird thing for me now is that most of my practice is just me going out, plugging my phone into my powered PA, right? And then turning up our demos and then matching the levels of my half stack to the PA, and then just fucking like dry humping our songs over and over again. Nobody there, just me out there singing and playing to myself.
Well, I mean,
But
that's how you got to do it. I
right.
remember when I was
But then it
doing the
takes a
band.
lot less when we all get together. Like we hit it this Friday, and it just you think, well, we haven't practiced as a group for almost a month, but we've all been doing that stuff solo. But then it comes together a lot easier. You don't have to get over those little fluidity issues,
Okay, what were we doing
timing
on this
issues,
part of
transition
song?
issues.
Yeah.
Right. Where the song starts and stops, and where the pauses are, all that. Everybody knows where those things are because the demos. So yeah, we're trying.
Hey, it's better than not doing anything. But yeah, that's cool that just doing the demo things. I remember working on songs because we had one that we were performing one night for the first time ever, and I didn't have the track, so I'm trying to memorize it by what I remember of the song while I'm at work.
Right.
So I'm like going through it, and every now and then they'd watch me pull out my lyric sheet, and I'm okay from the beginning, and then I'm going, and they're like, "What are you doing? Don't worry about it. Just come out to the show tonight." And it ended
Right.
up
Right.
turning
Right.
out good. So,
Yeah. Sometimes a scramble will surprise you. It's a toss of the dice.
oh yeah, it's either going to go really well or really horrible. And I remember that night I had to lay off the drinking. I couldn't be have my normal ones because I had to make sure I remembered all the shit. So,
Right. I can tell, man. For me, I gotta wait till after. I got to be clear headed going into it, or I'm not going to be able to give the people in the crowd what they paid money for. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
I don't want to. I don't want to be lacking anywhere. I want to. I want to be almost over the top, and
110.
then I'll feel. If I want to have a drink or something afterwards, I might have a drink. But I'm
Yeah,
not a big drinker.
110% all the time. Where it's I would rather see bands put on a hell of a show and be like, okay, one deep or completely sober, and then they go get trashed afterwards versus, and
Well,
we've all seen the
everybody's
vote.
their own, man. Everybody's their own too. I've worked with guys that hands down you couldn't deny it. They'd have a couple drinks and were flat out better. They were just they just played better, played with it. You know, like I say, it was, but it was a balance. Like you know, a couple
every every
shots
every person
they
has
were
to,
way better.
yeah, every person has
Half
to
a
find
bottle,
that
you couldn't
balance.
get them off the floor. Yeah, yeah. So
I remember, well, I don't remember some of those days. I've heard stories about some of those days from me, but yeah, everybody's got to find that balance that works best for them, especially when it comes to
yeah,
that. But it's the rock and roll lifestyle is such a different, like the whole thing. Like you're on the road, or you're eating truck stop food, or
right, right.
you're crashing in the vehicle because you just got done with the set, so you pull into the truck stop and you pass out for a few hours. Not because you're drunk, just because you're that freaking tired from
Exhausted. Right, right.
everything.
Doing the whole nodding on the highway. Well, that's what we got coming in front of us. That's what's on our plate. A whole lot of non-glorious stuff.
Yeah, and
You know,
that's the,
they really paint up being in a band as this you know, this great
oh, the
you know,
back room's
fabulous, fantastic
full with
partying all the
girls.
time, you know, woohoo, but it's not. It's just it's grinding and sleeping in uncomfortable positions and always being always second guessing your own music and trying to trying to keep it together yourself and trying to keep the group together. I
And
mean,
the thing that I always find funny with the band stuff is you'll get the band members all together and be like, "Oh man, on the third song, dude, I didn't hit the open A, or the, you know,
right, right.
I didn't hit that one note just right." It's like, dude, no one knows that you missed a
Yeah,
note, or
yeah.
you skipped over a word. Like most people are just excited to be here, so don't be so hard on yourself.
Right. Well, see, that's an exercise in mental control too. Like when you're up there on stage, it's something I've felt a couple times where I didn't hit that lick just right. And now my brain's back there, little guy in the backs, while I'm trying to perform into the microphone, screaming, "You didn't hit that one right.
Are you
You
gonna do
suck.
it?
Yeah, are you gonna do it the next time around? Because it's coming up. Ready? You're not gonna fuck up again, are you?" And it's you got to just shut that shit down.
Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Or the look on stage, you can always tell when somebody messed up something too, rather than just rolling with it, where they're just like, okay, I missed it, we're going, versus the whole, and they have that look where you're
We
just like,
actually
ugh, oh, they
we
missed
actually
that.
practice to go against that. We actually practice against that. When we're practicing, we all kind of face a certain direction as if we were in a stage setup. And you know, we go into it with the mindset that if someone misses a lick, if someone drops a stick, if I lose where I'm at in the verses, something happens, you just keep on going and you catch up when you can. And that catch up when you can gets better and better as you practice like that. You have to practice to keep going. What are you going to do if you're playing a set and you're rocking and something happens? You're going to crash a song? You don't want to crash a song. You're going to have to keep on soldiering through it. That's the only way to do it.
That's a good piece of advice right there for up and coming bands. You know, just practicing
Practice as you're going to play. Practice like you're at a show. You know,
every time.
I like when we're out there. I'm actually like, yeah, get on up here. You know, give me the horns. I say little things in between as we're playing, as if we were playing live, because it kind of gets you in that mindset of what you're going to
Oh
say.
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
you don't want
definitely.
that well to run. You don't want the well to run dry when you're up there on the mic.
And just what do we do now?
uh, you guys, okay, next one. No, you don't want
And
to do
then you
that.
gotta have, and then like if you gotta tune at practice, making sure you're just going through like the random stuff where it's like, okay, I'm gonna babble on the mic for a while. Okay, you guys ready? All right,
Right,
cool.
right.
And even if
Yeah,
it's
we get in there and plan those
random,
little spots out. Like we're when you know after a couple songs where Garrett knows that he's gonna have to you know or I'm gonna have to tweak on the guitar a little bit or something or you know if we've got something going on. There's we kind of practice like we're you know one of us will just take off. Well, Jesse will just start you know rapping on something. We kind of have that mindset of being aware if something starts going south mid set, how to recover before we lose it. You know what I'm
oh yeah,
saying?
oh definitely.
And
And it,
it's also kind of getting up on the horse and finding out for yourself what it's all about. You know, you can envision it how you want to, um,
Yeah,
then you got to get out there and do it. And that's where we're at, man. We want to get out there and do it and get on stage.
oh, definitely. Because I know there's Wichita's always got stuff popping.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I think I follow, I think like three or four of the venues down there and quite a few of the bands. So I'm always, my news feed, like I said, it's nothing but, I mean, there's other stuff, but it's the majority where it's like, okay, we got this show coming up, or we got this show coming up, or Facebook's sponsoring, this event, and it's like, ooh, that looks like a good lineup. Where's it at? It's in New York. Well, I don't think I'm making New York anytime soon.
yeah. I get a lot of those out of like Michigan and Iowa. There's like a Rock River Fest and Iowa. There's Iowa River or something,
Oh yeah,
Rock at the River or something like that. All these cool festivals I had no idea that was going on, man. That eventually, hopefully, we can create enough swell that we can start tapping into venues like that. Like that's what I want to do, man. I want to be on a stage. I want to look out on an ocean of people.
oh yeah.
That's what I want to do. That's why I'm here. I
I think,
want to I want to I want to see that. I want to see it for myself.
and the problem with like the easy thing is smaller bars is you can pack 100 people in there and it looks crowded as hell, but you put the same amount of people in, like say the Muse Ballroom in Salina, and it
Yeah.
looks empty as hell.
Empty.
So
Yeah, yeah.
like
Now
for
both of those venues I'm in love with. Barleycorns is tried and true. Those guys have been pumping out all kinds of killer shows and helping bands do things for years.
oh yeah.
But the one up there in Salina, I love it. It's long. You can put a lot of people in there. It's got great lighting, great
The
sound.
the problem with that one
Got a
is
little
just
bar,
trying
little bar in
trying
the
to
back.
get
It's almost like a little chunk of the cotillion, you know.
yeah,
Like
it's like they
you
took the
take
signs
like
off
a
the
little chunk of the
cotillions and went
cotillion, a bar in the back, a nice open venue, and then the stage.
it's a
But
hell of a venue, and I know like I've been seeing the barcode down in Wichita starting to do stuff quite a bit.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's gonna be a place to be. I hope to get in there pretty soon too.
And what else is in Wichita? Got Barleycorns, Muse, or the Muse
Shamrock,
Meridian, Shamrock. Yeah, I've been to
you
the
know.
Shamrock. That one's. I think I saw. I'm trying to remember. I think that was the one I saw Dusty Grant at, and then I saw like the night before was like Iron Guts Kelly and um, Odds Against and
Yeah, yeah,
Diabolical.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Reform and Ruin. That was the band I was trying to think of earlier.
Oh yeah,
Reform and Ruin. They were up there. They were up there in Salina when we was up
yeah.
there last time.
Adam
Yeah, Matt
Song.
was running the door up there and doing all that great stuff.
That's a hell of a dude when it comes because he does the that Christmas
Yeah.
the kind of the Toys for Tots type thing.
Yeah. We went up there and got in on some of that. That was cool. Not as a band. I just went up there and we went and attended the event and helped out a little bit. That was really sweet because I was when we go in there and you're like, here's some of this and here's some tickets and trying to help to donate and you see all the toys just piling up in the back. You're
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's. I remember we ended up being on the band I was in, Swept Aside. We were on that one year, and it was hilarious because we did a thing where we thought it was funny, but then all the other bands saw it and they were kind of like, "Really, that's what you're gonna do?" Well, now we got to do it because you guys did it. And it was we all ended up going out and grabbing like a $5 toy, and all of us went through the door and handed it to them, and they're like, "You guys are playing? Yeah, well, we still got to get our entrance fee for the rest of the band." And all the other bands saw it, and were like, "You guys are assholes." So they all went out and got stuff. So it was one of those things where it's just having fun and doing stuff to kind of set where a bar needs to be. That's why I always like opening shows
yeah.
too. Is you can sit there because it's never a there's a competitiveness, but it's also like a mutual competitiveness of bands are like, oh shit, that's how they're playing. Well, fuck, we got to step our game up to be, to
Right.
bring
Well,
that
maybe not
same,
so much a competitiveness as it is a reciprocity of energy. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You go in there and they're bringing their best. You're like, we got to bring our best. The next band's like, we got to do that too. And then what that's doing is ultimately giving the fans the best show they could get.
oh yeah. Well, that's like I made that joke a while back on Facebook where it's like, you always see Battle of the Bands, have a Battle of the Photographers. And it's just kind of a joke because I thought it'd be fun. Where like you still have like the battle of the band side thing, and it's gonna bring out the
No,
best.
that'd be cool though, having like multiple photographers covering an event, and then like going into the event knowing that that's what's going on, and then having like everybody that was there attending get on there and like vote on them or something.
Oh yeah, and I think it'd be cool. It would bring the best out of both worlds because you're gonna get the best performance from the band because they're like, okay,
Yeah.
we've got nine for or like you got five photographers there, all at different angles. So
Right, right.
we gotta bring our top game, and the photographers are going, okay, they're bringing their best, and there's five of us, and we got to do
Yeah,
our best to get what we can see. And I just think it'd be fun, even
absolutely.
if like everybody splits the money across the board, or you give like a little trophy or something or whatever. But I think it'd just be something. It'd be different. It's cool, and trying to kind of reinnovate the idea and the concept of the live music thing, because then
Right, right.
you're gonna want to bring out the most people and be like, hey, look, you guys got to stay for everybody, or if you can stay for everybody, just so we can give everybody the same. They're gonna have that same energy, and I think it'd be cool and actually really interesting to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. All right, what next? What do you got? What do you got for me?
I don't know. The weird thing about my interviews is I've got like this buttload of questions, but I usually just end up talking with people because it seems to work better.
No, that's all right.
Music style. What style of music do you guys? Just so people who
Oh,
haven't heard you guys, or like, okay,
uh,
your influences for bands.
metal. If you like any of the if you like any of the mid to late '90s, early 2000s, metal and rock and roll, that's about where our vibe is. Um, um, we've been likened to the sound of like COC, some of the heavier songs. I don't know. I don't know. We kind of our own flavor, but when you hear it, you're going to hear things that are familiar and reminiscent of that style of music.
Oh yeah, I've
Kind of hard to wine taste this, man. We kind of all over the place. We got some melodic stuff. We got some hard hitting stuff. Got some not scream, but we're kind of all over the place.
oh hey, that's I figured this way to at least give people an idea of the flavor. So yeah,
Right, right.
that's always fun when you sit there and you'll ask bands,
Chunky
okay,
metal
well,
licks. Yeah.
what are like the influences of you, and then you hear their influences. You're like, okay, the first song, the third song, the fourth song, and the seventh song all had reminiscence of that set band that you mentioned. They're like, you picked all that out. Well, it's kind of what I do.
Yeah.
I like music, and I like listening to a
Yeah.
lot of different genres, and it always is interesting when you can find different styles and see where people's influences and how it all meshes together and molds this entity
Yeah.
of what they're doing.
With me, I'd say my top three influences: Chains, Pantera, and Clutch. And Clutch and Pantera are always fighting for two and three.
So
Like
it's one of those where it's like that's an interesting group because Alice in Chains is like this grungy. They're Alice in Chains. Like they just
right.
like, I don't really
And
know.
not all the stuff, but some of the bigger albums, man, the ones that really got out there, well, everyone the ones that everybody else knows. I'm also a huge fan of Chris Cornell. Um, I listen to a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
Like when I'm at
he's
work, I just plug Pandora in, and it's like System of a Down, Clutch, Pantera,
well.
Black Label Society.
Clutch is its own little thing all in its own because they do kind of whatever the
Yeah,
hell they want.
yeah, that's
It's
why I dig them, man. Like they're not bound by any precepts. You know, if they like it, they go with it.
well, that's one thing that with some of the major bands is you see they get that little pigeon-toe or that pigeonhole, like, okay, this is the style of music you do, so this is where you're at on the shelf.
Right,
And
right.
they're always trying to put like Five Finger Death Punch is a prime example. They've got really melodic songs and they've got some hard hitters, but they kind of have that same sound, or AC/DC where it's got that same sound where you can just be like, oh,
Right,
that's
right, right.
an AC/DC album, or
There. Well, when you get that big, man, I don't really think it's in your hands anymore. I think they're trying to sell themselves as best they can, and they pick an avenue, whether it's the sound or whether it's the image or whether it's kind of a both. Or I
that's
don't know,
one of the
man. I
things
just want to be on stage.
I like about metal is we're gonna do this. Well, we don't think that. Fuck you. We're going to do this because this is what we're
Yeah.
going to do. Well, we don't think no, we don't give a shit what you think. This is what we're going to do.
No.
Because I think I saw an interview with Slipknot where they said, they're making music for nine guys. They're not making music for anybody else. We're making music that we
Yeah.
like, and I think that's a very because if you can't stand playing the show or the music yourself, then it kind of defeats the purpose of what you're
Right,
going
right.
for.
You've got to be having fun with it, or it's going to come across.
Like, oh,
If
we're
you're not
doing.
enjoying it, the crowd's not going to enjoy it. I've never been to a Slipknot show, but I've watched a lot of their videos. My brother went to one. He was like, man, just so much energy. They put so much into the performance and stage
Oh
presence.
yeah,
It's unbelievable.
I think I saw them
So,
in '04 on Ozfest, like right after the Iowa album. Went into a pit for like a short period of time and came out. I'm like,
no.
I'm like, I think I was like 20, maybe 21 at the time, and I was like, those guys are fucking crazy. I can't do this shit. I'm not built for this. I mean, they're
I've heard it's scary.
wild.
Yeah. I've heard them and Lamb of God are both pretty gnarly pits. They're
Uh,
badges of honor as far as the pit world goes.
yeah, I, I remember crowd surfing at a Lamb of God show wearing a tie dye shirt, and I think Chewy was there, and like Tracy and a bunch of the rest of the old school gang. And they're like, hey, where'd Hippie run off to? And they kind of look out and they're like, yeah, it didn't take long for us to find you. Sea of Black, and here goes this jackass with a tie dye shirt, just crowd surfing across everybody. I mean, I kind of do the metal thing. I'm not bound by anything. I'll wear what I want, look how I want, and not
There
really
you go.
care.
Well, I think we're kind of it's not really about that, man. It's about being comfortable, about
Yeah.
being who you are, being comfortable with that, and finding that even though, one may be anxious to try and open themselves up that way, that like the metal society is really accepting, man. Like
Oh yeah.
they just want other people to have a good time and enjoy what they're enjoying.
And being safe,
The culture itself is phenomenal.
kind of like just being in the pits. I mean that right there shows they're excited. Except there's always that one asshole, but the majority of the time you fall down, there's like three hands that are just right, get up, come on, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
there's people holding back the
Case in
crowd.
point, when I was at we went to the Throws of Rejection Pantera tribute show at Temple a while back, right? And they started kicking off, man. I'm going around there, and I slipped, stuck my left knee right into that concrete, and I'm talking like it swelled up like half a grapefruit, right?
Oh,
It was pretty rough. But the point of the story was that everybody was throwing around, man. And I went down and I couldn't get back up on my own, and I couldn't see what was going on because it was dark in there. And I just put my arm up in the air, right? And some random dude, I don't even know who he is, grabbed my arm and yanked me up, said, "Right on, brother." And that was like, I love that, man. You won't find that other people.
oh
You won't find
no.
that other places.
And everybody's always careful too. Like you got the like females up by the garter. People are always kind of standing back just to make sure they get like they see a pit breakout. Everybody kind of moves back for the women up front, or like Metal Mom, where everybody kind of moves away from her. So it's like, okay, pit breaks out. She's right there. Everybody kind of gets her out of the way so she doesn't get hurt because she's kind of
It's
older.
it's kind of wild how it's ultra chaotic yet kind of super protective at the same time.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then unless it's that one asshole guy that like throwing elbows and you know just going out there trying to hurt people, then
Right.
everybody's kind of like, okay, let's take care of him really quick. Okay, you done? All right, we'll move you off to the side, and then we'll go back to our circle pit. I
Yeah, yeah.
mean, I may have taken part in one or two of those in my time. Of
No, I like them, but I'm getting a little old, man.
oh
I'm
yeah,
getting a little old for going in there full bore anymore. I like getting up front anymore. I'll work my way through the pitch and try and get up to the front and
Oh
hang
yeah,
out there and just let the pit hang out behind me.
I can't take the hits anymore. I've been bumped a few times. I'm like,
Well, you think you can till you start getting into them 20 somethings and they're hitting at a whole other level and you're like,
yeah, I'm pushing. I'm closer to the 40 than I'd like, but like I had back surgery almost a year ago, so anytime I get bumped, I'm like, I don't want to go
yeah,
back through that, so I'll stay away from the pits. As much as there's times where it's like, oh, I think I
the
got
important
one.
part is being there. The
Oh
important
yeah,
part is being there. You being there, the fans being there, the bands being there, like having a place to do that and having a culture for it is really important. And like music. If I didn't have music, I'd probably be in a dark place. It's
sometimes a
it's
dark place makes really good music though, but
yeah.
the dark
Having been
places,
there,
but the dark
yeah.
places
Trauma makes
also.
people funny. I hear.
Uh, but the problem with like those dark places, they're really hard to get out of. Depending on how hard
Yeah,
you hit going into it, or how much you did when you were in there. Makes it so much harder. That's why, unfortunately, the metal scene or like the music scene has so many artists that like OD or pass away because
yeah,
of that reason, because they get into those
yeah,
dark places and like a lot of people don't understand what it's like being in a band as well. Like we mentioned earlier, where it's it's not as glamorous as everybody thinks. It's riding around in
yeah.
vehicles and sleeping in truck stops and like what's on the menu tonight?
Hard
Well,
nights and being broke and worrying and stressing. And God forbid you made a band with your best friends, because if it goes south, you lose friends. I mean, there's a lot riding on what we got going on.
oh yeah.
That's why we're hungry. And whether it's barley corns with 10 people or whether it's some fest out in the middle of nowhere with 1,000 people, that's what we want to do.
Well, I noticed there's a lot of festivals that are popping up too. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
on quite a few sites where it's like just through the Nebraska area and like Kansas area, there's always stuff going on.
yeah.
And
Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, northern Missouri, like the whole Midwest circuit's starting to kick things off again.
oh yeah, I'm even seeing stuff down in like Oklahoma and Dallas too, and like Texas too,
Yeah,
because I know
yeah.
like I saw Low Gear, I think is supposed to be on like a big festival down there, which is a band that I would love to see again. Just like one more time. I just want to see them one more time. I'd be happy just to hang out with them.
Right, right.
That's kind of like when I saw Kindred and seeing the guys from
But
Grin
have you
again.
seen have you seen that Pantera was going to do? Is it true that they're going to be at Rocklahoma?
Uh, that one I haven't seen yet, but I've been
Because
seeing that.
I saw something on Facebook. I was scrolling through and it was gold letters, black backgrounds. It had a whole bunch of bands and then a bunch of to be announced. And Pantera was the first one at the top there. And I was
I
like, man, is that for real?
I would love to see what like I've seen some of the live footage that they're doing right now, and they sound really good. And I like what they're doing with where it's not Pantera itself, it's kind of like a tribute type thing because they're not trying anything new. They're just doing the same songs
Yeah,
and they're bringing what should have happened years ago with Pantera back. And it would be great to see it because I missed out because I think I was 16 when they disbanded. So I kind of missed out on the whole
yeah.
Pantera thing. Just I know it's not the same Pantera because obviously they're a whole lot older, but it'd be nice to be able to see just
I'd take what I can get, but like I'm not one. I'm like I looked at some of the ticket prices, and man, if you wanted to be in the pit, most places it's gonna be $1,000, especially in Arlington or anywhere close, St. Louis.
oh I
But
would I
If they did Rocklahoma, that's pretty reasonable, and I could get to that place.
yeah, and that's a
I can go
3 day
see it.
festival for like 300-400 bucks for the one
Right,
day. It's
right.
you can justify that because you're like, okay, I'm not just seeing one band, I'm seeing
Right,
27
and
or
that's well, that's only like what 4.5 hours, 4 hours from here.
yeah, something like that. Because that's in Oklahoma
Yeah,
City, right?
Pryor. It's in Pryor,
Oh,
I think. Right?
oh, okay. Yeah, but it's still not that bad of a drive versus
No, no, it's totally doable. Better than Texas or St. Louis.
Oh, Texas would be a whole different ball game to go see Pantera in Texas. That would be
Right,
those
right.
those
Especially Arlington,
videos.
like hometown,
Oh,
hometown Pantera.
Arlington, Dallas,
Yeah.
San Antonio, like anywhere in Texas, like the big cities down there. Those are going to be some good videos because those crowds are going to go. Hopefully, they go ballistic in a good way, not in a
Hopefully.
bad way, not like
Right, right.
Woodstock
I saw some
'99
clips.
way.
I saw some clips of the videos of the music festivals they were doing. Was it like South America and Brazil and stuff like that?
Yeah, like Europe and stuff.
Right, right. And man, there was just a sea of people just going. I was like,
Oh
man,
yeah,
that's what we need here. That's what we need here.
and
We need to
Phil
do something
Phil
like what they're
sounded
doing in Europe
good too.
here.
Phil
Like
didn't sound like
I'd hate to
his.
say Woodstock over again because the last one was a shot, but you know,
kind
like a metal stock or something, something big, some outdoor festival that's like that.
of like a not,
Rocklahoma's got it going on.
kind of like a Knot Fest, Oz Fest, something along that lines where it's nationwide, but they're not hitting just like the 12. Where you got the New York, the Atlanta, the Nash,
Right, right.
where they only hit
Seaboards and
like the,
Midwest, yeah.
yeah, they completely skip over there. It's like, okay, we're going to do St. Louis and then we're going to do Denver. Come on, man. There's like a whole two states in there that you're skipping over. Now, you could hit Kansas
Well,
City and be perfectly fine, and people would drive from, you know, uh, everywhere for that.
no. Well, if I won the lottery, that's what I'd do. I'd go out and I'd just try and support Music Fest and fucking big metal shows and stuff like that. Just because that's what it takes. It takes people to initially like the guy got to go out and find investors that want to. First, you got to pay for the venue. Then you got to find bands that are willing. Then you got to pay the bands and their contracts and all that bullshit. And then you get like there's so much involved into it.
Well, then you want to throw
So
local
why
bands on
people
it as
don't do it?
well. Like if you win the lottery, you'd want to throw local bands on it too, just to be like, here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we could change the game. Like
Well,
it
that's
just
a
take one or two of us winning the lottery with that mindset. Like, what about a whole metal fest out of Wichita where there was no pay to play? Every band got paid, and every band who tried to get on there was accepted. You got a list on there. You could just run those. You could just run those set times for the whole weekend. You do all local. You could do a whole metal fest, all local bands. You could do a whole metal fest, all certain types of genres. You could do. I don't know, man. I want to see it grow. I
oh,
see it breathing. I don't see
it's
it running.
it's starting to get there. Like I
Yeah.
noticed after COVID, it really started to pick up because people kind of missed out where it's like, okay, well, I'll catch the next show, and then everything's shut down, and people are like, I want
Mm.
a show. Give me a show. I don't
Yeah.
care what it is. Like I'm almost ready to go to church
Yeah.
just to watch like the choir start
When
singing,
they
so
opened
I
the
can.
floodgates and let everybody go back out again, it was time to start getting some music ready for
Oh
sure.
yeah, I know. I caught a band here in Hastings, and like, oh, shortly after they kind of started lifting the band, and like I saw all different types of people. It wasn't just like, okay, it's a rock metal show. You got your metalheads. Like I saw older people there. I saw people in suits. Like it was. I think people are just like, we want
Right.
something live. We don't care what it
Yeah.
is. We just want something.
Right. Right.
And that was like right around the time I started getting back into going to shows and photographing. It was just kind of one of those where it's like it was weird for me because I'm like I don't know what to do yet, and now I've gotten comfortable in it where it's like I'm walking up to bands and I'm talking with people and finally starting to
Heck
figure
yeah.
out what I'm doing again. Still, I act like I know what I'm doing. Most of the time, I really don't.
Hey, man, I make it up as I go. I really do. I'll pull it out of my pocket and say, here it is.
Yeah, I keep telling people I want to make a press pass that just has a picture on me. This is I can do whatever the fuck I want pass and just see how many places it'll actually work. Be like, see, I got my press pass. I do whatever the fuck I want. I still pay to get into shows and like that's the thing. Every now and then I'll get like a t-shirt or some stickers from a band, but like the majority of the time, like I never ask for those things because being in a band, you understand what it's like, and people always like, hey, can I get a free t-shirt? Man, it's $15 or it's $20. How can you not afford a t-shirt? Like, I just
Right.
watched you. You've got 4 beers in your hand. You could have just bought a T-shirt with that. And like that's the funny thing about people. I did go to one show that was hilarious. It had there's like a college frat party that was going on upstairs to the bar, and there was a metal fest going on, and I got pictures of people who were walking down and just seeing the looks on their face, and just it's like I'm hiding behind people and I'm like taking pictures, and you kind of see they caught on to what I was doing, so they all started hiding their face. It's like y'all suck, fuck you. I still got to post those because I thought that was hilarious, like trying to sneak around band members because some of the other bands were like, "Hey, dude, catch the picture of people back there," because they got this like disgusted look on them, and I'm like, okay. I just thought it was funny.
Well, maybe we just have to turn them into metalheads. You know.
These ones look like they had the spoon up their ass, so I don't know if they're going to be metalheads. Especially the looks they were given. I don't see them being metalheads. Because if they were metalheads, they'd already be down at the festival and screw the frat party.
Right, right.
At least that's always kind of my take on
Music is a heady tonic.
it. That's like I listen to all kinds of stuff, like I said, and like when I'm working on photos and stuff, I'm listening to rap music. And every now and then I'll have metals pop up, but I'm like old school rap, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tupac.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, let's see. Got most of the questions. I mean, this will also help you guys hopefully get some shows up and running because it's the interview, obviously, and it gives because I know like a lot of people aren't doing band interview like they only want to do interviews for like YouTube and all the social media is weird because they only want to do mainstream bands so they can get the plays or they can get the views or they get the likes or whatever the hell it is. And I'm over here covering all the underground stuff because like half the
Well,
underground stuff is just as good, if not better. And then you got bands that are up and coming that are you can see the potential, but you're not sure where their potential is going. And being able to give bands and artists an opportunity that most people kind of are like, oh, it's just a local guy. And that local guy might be on one of those big shows, and you're going, man, I could have seen him for $5 versus paying 180 now.
right. Well, hopefully that's where it goes. I mean, some of the bands there in Wichita, especially in Wichita, that have been grinding, for the past decade, are going to be able to see some swell back the other way. Hopefully, with the bigger shows coming up and Metal Fest coming up, bigger opportunities like Ward just caught them at the Cotillion a while back, man.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about that for years, wanting to just like they did it. Like one of us got up on there, man. It was like we all kind of like yeah, like
Well, like
it was
Chewy's
like
been
kind of like
around
one of us
for
winning the lottery, man. It was really awesome, to
like
see our
Chewy's
bros
been
up there.
around forever. I'm not sure if he's ever played the Cotillion.
I'm not sure. I don't want to misspeak, but I believe that was the first Cotillion time.
Yeah, I mean that's
I don't
and
want to misspeak. I may be mistaken on that one, but if you're watching this, Chewy, don't kill me.
yeah, me either. We're trying to remember all that stuff. There's a whole lot of gray areas in there from us. But yeah, like just with the amount of stuff that he's done and being able to get up on the Cotillion. And I know the
Yeah,
Cotilion's
it
like
was
really picky
it was
on.
heartwarming. It was heartwarming watching those guys, knowing how much work they put into it, how much time and effort and money and stress that it takes to get to that point where you're performing at that level. And then they got the shot. It was
Oh
awesome
yeah.
to see him up there.
Well, and like you said, Wichita's got a hell of like I know Wichita is always got stuff. Kansas City's always got stuff. The Lawrence is starting to kind of pick back up from what I'm seeing, but they're not anywhere what they used to be. And like Topeka's still got the booby trap, but I notice there's a lot of
Uh,
smaller towns that are
Lawrence, that's where they got the Granada up there, right?
yeah, yeah. The Granada
Yeah,
got the
yeah,
bottleneck. Bottlenecks.
yeah.
That was the
That's a
bottom.
cool place. I went up there with my brother a while back, and we caught Ginger up there.
Oh
That was
yeah,
a killer. I love that. That's a cool venue, man. I like how they kind of got it like kind of almost like a like a Roman theater at the front there,
Yeah,
and then you got like a little pit area in the front and stepped up. Like that's a cool spot. I dig it.
yeah, and I know like Junction City's starting to have stuff again. Emporia's working on bringing a scene down there. So I mean,
Yep.
there's always places to play. It's just a matter of trying to. And I've noticed lately, like the music scene is more like acceptance, where they're having. It's not so much like, okay, you're not from around here, so we can't have you on this bill. It's like, you're not from around here. Come on, let's go.
Right. Right.
Because I
You need to
remember,
have open door, kind of an open door policy for real.
yeah, because I remember it used to be like Wichita, as like mid early mid 2000s, like was a bitch to get into because you had to be in, like if you weren't a Wichita band, it was hard getting into. Like Manhattan was a nightmare trying to get into. Like if you weren't death metal in Manhattan, you couldn't get in. Didn't matter how
Yeah.
aggressive you were, you just it was rough trying to get in. And now it's more like, what style of music you play? We play rock. Yeah, you got a YouTube channel? Yeah, all right, cool. We'll go check it. Yeah, hey, we can get you on this bill. We'll put you here. We're gonna
Right.
put
Right.
like, it kind of build like the shows kind of build into something now where they're not just like all aggressive the whole night. It's like you got some softer metal bands or like some rock bands, and it just kind of it flows together really well.
Right. 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 Almost like a gradual build of the show, as if as kind of fractally, almost like relative to like what you would do with a song, as if you were building a song, and you have the intro and the melodies, and some different stuff in there. Changes what hooks, whatever, and ultimately the song creates to an apex and finishes out.
Oh
The
yeah,
same way the same way you want to build around a show. You want to kind of line those bands up in a way that's gonna, build the energy as you go out through the night. Have people talking on the way out the door.
oh yeah. I've seen it a couple times where like there's this young band up here in Nebraska that's uh it's Siphon, and they literally played like the first night of Feck Fest, and everybody was talking about them the rest of the night and into the next day because it
Did you
just
have a video of them that you posted up from Feckfest?
yeah, I think I did.
I think that's where I've seen it. I think that's where I
Like I saw two of
be
them, or I
familiar
think I
with
got
them.
a couple of them from when they played at the Keg with Love Like War, and Terrence Severance was the first one I
Right,
saw
right,
them
right, right,
with.
right, right, right. That's what's up. Yeah,
And then I saw them at Feck Fest again, and they just straight like they have this energy to them. People are still talking about them the next day. So
yeah.
being able to see those type of things, and I think they're on a couple other fests that I'm going to here soon, and I enjoy seeing them. Like I went and saw them back in December, and like the whole band realized when I got there, kind of like did the whole wave thing in a song. So they're up there playing. All of a sudden, it's like just one of those things where it's like really humbling that like out of
Yeah.
everybody there, you acknowledge that I showed up, which I thought was really cool.
Nah, there's the music scene's fun. It's full of those cool feelings like that. Like I remember like when we went to one of Love Like War shows there at Barleycorns. Like Chewy gave me this huge birthday shout out, man. It just made my heart melt. I was like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like we all wear black and we're all, but we're all big, big old teddy bears, at the same
Oh yeah,
time.
we it, like well, the kid wants you to paint wants to paint your fingernails, and you're walking around black t-shirt that says "Go fuck yourself," and you've got green, yellow, purple, and pink fingernail polish. Like we're gonna leave that guy alone anyways. He just already looks unstable. But yeah, it's.
I'll bring him on stage with me.
I think I've done that a couple times too. But yeah, it's always fun seeing the different reactions from people where they're. I've gotten a few shout outs just for like the reaction review videos or for being there, and it's always kind of one of those humbling things because I'm there to help promote the artist and give people a view of what the bands are doing. So maybe if you're in the area, you can be like, oh, that's where this band's from. Maybe we can hit them up and see if they want on the show, and then we'll get them down here. And there's like trying to do a whole lot of networking with
Yeah, that
different
is
bands.
key. That is key.
it's a lot of work, but it pays off in the end.
Well, it's fundamental. Like when you get back to local bands, when you talk about local bands and kind of a clicky feel to the local bands, there is that because they've had to carve out their own chunk of the music scene there, and they feel that that's their own. And when you're going out there, networking with other bands in other towns like that helps you be able to do those little 2 or 3 day tours, those little here and there's, and be accepted. It it's fundamental, like getting to networking with the other bands and getting to know them and they know you. And when you're coming into town, they're looking for you. And when they're coming into town, they're looking for you to hook up with them and be an opener, an act in their show.
Oh
And
yeah,
getting that reciprocity is key. Like it needs to, we need to get that built back up, man. It just felt like the music used to have, it was used to be this huge hot air balloon, and somebody just came up with a needle and went
yeah.
and let all the air out of it.
I think it's a lot of, and there's also the thing too where people are starting to do where they're more understanding. Like, okay, we know we may not be your style of music, but we're still working with you. And like
Well,
I've
exactly.
seen
Look,
numerous shows that
I
like
like going to shows. I like going to shows that's not all the same. I don't mind, but I don't want to go to I prefer going to a show where there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what I'm
diversity.
saying? And you kind of some diversity in there, man. We went to a show at the Muse, that Salina Muse. It was a while back. It was a few years back, but um, there was another band there that did it was metal, and then there was this other band popped in there and they did like a reggae song towards the end of their set, through the whole thing sideways. It was killer. I'm not even sure who that was, but
Almost sounds like possibly Waffle Stomp.
I'm not sure who it was, but they was cool.
Yeah,
And here's the thing: is like all those bands did. The music was great, but then there was that one that came out there and just went
you
and
know what?
wiped it off. And that's what people were talking about out the door and in the parking lot. And on the way home, they were talking about that reggae thing, man. That was cool. But
Yeah,
but that's
it's
where the diversity comes in, because the human mind, and after a while, it kind of tunes things out,
yeah. I
and
mean, you get
you want a
oversaturated
little bit of
with
change in that flavor.
yeah, you can get oversaturated with, and then you're just like, oh, okay, it's another metal band. Oh, they're done. Oops. I got invited out to a show out in the middle of nowhere, and it was friends of mine in Elyria, and they're one of those like vibing feel good bands, and they just have this really great energy. But like it's not my normal cup of tea, and they were the first ones that
Right.
invited. Like I was back in Salina, and they invited me out to it, so it's like, all right, I'll go hit it up. Why not? And just not my cup of tea, but I had a great time. All the bands had great energy, and it's just such a cool
No.
vibe and such a cool feeling to it. And just
That's one of the powerful things about music that comes across to me, is its ability to kind of knock down your own comfort zones.
oh yeah,
Like you might not think I dig that, or that I dig that crowd, or whatever, but you know
oh yeah,
it's more it's just as much self exploration as it is as outerwards exploration into the music scene and what you dig.
oh yeah. I've I've found so many bands that like Esper Winds, young band out of I think Colby, Kansas. Yeah, I ended up hanging out with them at a show and instantly liked what they were doing. And I think
Right.
I've seen them like 4 or 5 times. And it's just one of those, they enjoy seeing me and I enjoy seeing them. It's always fun watching them because they have such a unique style, or not, more like a different energy. Like their drummer straight up goth with waist length dreadlocks. And it's just, it's fun because they don't look like the way they should or sound, and I always enjoy watching them.
Right. Right. Well, that's what I dig about the diversity of the music, is you can find something that draws you in. You can find something that strokes those heartstrings. You
Oh
can
yeah,
find something that makes you feel. You can find something that helps you around some of the harder feels. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a powerful thing, and we wouldn't have it any other way, man. It's like it's been working on 3+ years, and we're just now, as a group, kind of confident to go forward and go, okay, we like our music, we like our own music enough, we like it enough to where we think other people will like it too. We
Yeah.
spend a lot of time out here just going over it and changing it and having those game changer moments. We're gonna have to rewrite the whole ass into that song.
Oh yeah, but it adds that element to it where you're like, okay, that's what we were missing on this, or
But
that's
you
what
also have
this
to
needed.
you have to play that thing 100 times before you find those aha moments where that little diddly do or little change or pause or refrain in there just makes it, and you would never have found that if you just, okay, well, here's the song, we played it a few times, we're ready to perform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We
and
wanted to be
then
playing it
bands
at a
start and people start seeing you, and they're like, hey, you changed that. No, no, we didn't. No, no, you changed this and this and this. There used to be lyrics here, and it went and now it's you cut. Yeah, yeah. About four of us paid attention. We recorded it. We went back and looked at the other recordings. Yeah, you changed it. We know. But yeah, it's
well,
better to go
nobody
out with
knows
that.
that was us. Ain't nobody
But
heard
it's
us yet, so
but it's better having that confidence when you go out there because then it also reflects on your stage show too because you're geared up and ready to go and you have that confidence that you believe in yourself
it's
and your
magical, man.
music. Oh yeah,
It's
and
as close. It's as close to magic that you can touch and feel and being real as I can really think.
it's the
Um,
one drug that won't kill you and it gives you a high like no other being on stage.
yeah. The adrenaline and dopamine that comes from being up there and kind of like that, and having to push on through it and then nail it. Like hopefully you can nail your set. There is no other feeling like it. It really isn't.
And
It
it's
is
a
addictive. It is.
it's a feeling that only people that have been there and done that know what that feeling is. There's no side way around it where you can't be like, oh, I know what you mean. Really? You've been in a band? Well, no. You've been on stage? No. Why did karaoke? Not the same thing. Just go sit your ass down. Because it's such a there's a high and there's a feeling of confidence that you get when you get up there.
Well, having gone through uh, some of those low spots in my life with things that I shouldn't have been messing with, like that is where, in a couple of changes in my life, music has given me that new opportunity, and it is my new addiction. It is my addiction. That's what I'm addicted to now. That's
Fills your bank account
what's
just as
Trevor
fast
on these
too.
days? Have you seen him lately? What's Trevor on these days? Well, I think he's still on the music.
Well, hang on. Let's drive by his
He's
house.
he's been hitting the music pretty hard these days.
They drive by the house. Fuck! Nope, don't like that. And like it's coming over the intercom. They're like, oh, he's back on that music kick. He's working on something.
But
We'll leave him be.
what's magical for me with it is as much as that I get from it is that you look out and when people are applauding and they're digging what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? It's a give and take. It's that reciprocity, that building of energy
Oh yeah,
that
definitely.
you can't beat it for sure.
Well, and, like hearing a song and suddenly like first time hearing it and you get goosebumps, or it hits you right in those feelers. And you're just like, okay, this is that song.
Yeah,
And then going and
that's
telling the
exciting
band,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
it's great going and telling the bands like, dude, this song just hit something, really, and just seeing their face of excitement of like, okay, what you feel?
And there goes why it's kind of not scary but kind of daunting sometimes is you might not know what's gonna you might not know what's gonna vibe with you.
Oh yeah,
Listen to something you would just across the board think, no, I'm just not gonna like that kind of music for the style that it is, and then you're like, oh yeah, I like that.
yeah.
Music appreciation can be humbling.
Especially then when you post about it, you're like, yeah, I just wouldn't listen to this one. Yeah, it's a new one I like. You guys need to go check this song out. It hit something. I don't know what it hit, but it got those feelers going.
Well, um, I can't say anything yet, but there is a show in the works, and we're gonna pull something out of our pockets that I think is gonna hit out of left field and nobody's gonna see coming.
Oh, right
So
on.
there's a little,
A little
but
mystery in
it's going
there.
to take some doing.
Those are always the fun ones.
Not what you would typically call your normal metal cover, you know.
Oh, those are the best. I love watching bands do like metalize a song that isn't a metal song, which
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
like I saw Viscerous did a Alice in Chains cover and I ended up recording it. But like Alice in Chains has one of those unique sounds and they like death metal the shit out of it and it sounded really good. I need to
Yeah.
get to editing and post it. But yeah, it was just one of those where like, okay, that wasn't what I was expecting, which is always nice because like you see bands that'll cover like Pantera songs or Lamb of God or Slayer, and it's like, okay, they've everybody knows how those songs are, so you have to hit them just right.
Yeah, I want to see your interpretation of that beat, of that melody, of that song.
Yeah,
I
like
want to see, you know, what does your brain tell you ought to go right there when that timing comes through and you're playing your finger on the board? Like, what does your brain say ought to go there? Change it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I dig that stuff. Music it's an ever evolving art form. You know, you can that song doesn't ever have to stay the same, and until you record it and master it,
oh
uh,
yeah,
who knows what you can who knows what you can do with it. So
well, I like what Children of Bodom did when they did their cover album, and they just picked like they had some punk songs in there. Then they had those ones that like Britney Spears, "Oops, I Did It Again," and they said that was the biggest pain to write to because they're like,
no doubt.
how do you make music for a song that doesn't have any actual musical instruments in it? And we had to figure out how to play it and get it to work right. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's what I like seeing when a
How to
band
take
cover.
how to take your metal instruments and make those representations of that song with those. Yeah, that is challenging.
But it
I
also pays.
agree.
It either is going to be a horrible flop or it's going to pay huge dividends because people are like, "Dude, did you hear that band's cover of so and so?" They're like,
That's what I'm talking about.
where
I'm
they're like,
talking like I want to knock it off the foundations. You know what I'm saying?
"Oh yeah," where it's like, "Do you hear that cover of Wham that they did?" Where kind of like what Limp Bizkit did with Faith, where they just out of
Right, right.
nowhere and changed the game on it, and you're just like, okay, and then
Yeah, it was all soft and melodic until Fred comes out.
and you're
You
like,
didn't see it coming at all, man. You're like,
where the fuck did that come from? Okay.
he's so angry.
Well, yeah, he's a metalhead. He's a vocalist. Of course, we're supposed to be angry or along those
He's got some
lines.
new stuff coming out that I heard on Pandora a while back that I didn't even know was brand new. It sounded like old biscuit.
Oh, I might have to go check some
Like
of.
was it Turn It Up, Bitch? I think that was one that it sounded like old Limp Biscuit, but it's a brand new one, I guess. From what a buddy of mine told me, I had no idea. I was like, man, that's one off something I didn't hear.
Yeah, I
I
must have
guess,
missed it. I must have snuck. That one must have snuck through
but
the
no,
cracks.
that's his new stuff.
I'm gonna have to go check some of that out, dude. I know I kind of fell off with listening to them. They kind of got overdone,
Yeah,
overplayed, oversaturated, same thing over and over
yeah.
again. You're just like, okay,
Well, when you that's that's the dangerous the dangerous side of the blade there. When you start monetizing a sound, you're gonna find an end to it. It's gonna finally come to an end, and you're just gonna run its course, and it's not gonna be sellable anymore. And then you lose your value. So
because it's what can he do? Well,
what do you do?
they can only
What do you
do
do?
this
Change your
style.
sound, come up with new albums, constantly creating content.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
end game.
that's that's the one, and you can always find content too, especially with the internet now with Facebook and bands being on every social media. Like I found bands on Instagram and that I haven't found yet on Facebook, or found bands that are you just put in some random search title where it's like underground unsigned bands, and
Yeah.
okay, we'll click on this one. Okay, we'll click on it. Ooh, I like that one. All right, we'll subscribe to that channel, or we'll do this, or we'll do that. It you there's always stuff out there to find, and it's always amazing because it's different.
It gives the little man a marketplace. You
Oh,
know,
definitely.
you don't have to go out there and grind for 10 years and hope that somebody will see you and sign you.
Yeah, it's
You can make yourself uh, marketable and sellable right off the bat if you got the know-how and the want to. You know,
Yeah, because
it's all out there. It's all out there.
there's so many different social media outlets. Like I think I'm on, like, just for photography, I'm on like 3 or 4 for photography, for like the videos and stuff. There's like another 3 or 4 that I'm on. Like, and you got to have all of it so you can market yourself across the board, which is a real pain in the ass because it is excessively time consuming.
Yeah, that's the most of it is the time consuming. Um, but I think as a group, we're really just going to try and for now focus on getting out and interacting with the public, making those live shows, um, getting out to like the Barleycorns and the local guys out there. I love Barleycorns. This place is fucking magical. Just to be able to play there, you know. I'm not looking to go out and sign a record contract 30 minutes into a set, but I want to go out there and I want to play at those places where I've seen my friends play and I've seen those other great bands play and I've seen all that. You know, I had those great times. I want to be in there and be on that. You know,
Oh
I don't want
yeah,
to. Yeah, I don't want to be out in the crowd anymore. I want to see the crowd.
but it's also cool when you're in the band and you're still showing up to shows, and like you've been doing shows for a while and people start recognizing you, and it's like, hey, he's out. Hey, we need to go inside. He just went inside. Let's see what he's going to listen to. And people start taking notice
Right,
that,
right.
like, you're posting like, hey, I'm going to Tommy Knockers tonight to go catch my buddies in Phil and the Outcast or whatever, and people are like, haven't heard about that. We should probably go out and see why he's going to this show, or why he's going to check
Yeah,
out this band, or
gives those micro universes, gives those local scenes a much broader voice.
oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
definitely.
Like,
And
so
covering the local
hopefully,
scene is just, it's fun because you meet so many different
yeah,
people and you catch up with people, and you reconnect with people that you hadn't seen in a while or you had falling out with, and it's like, okay, we cool. What were we mad about it with each other? I don't remember. Well, I'm sorry for whatever I did. I'm sorry for whatever I did. All right, cool. Let's go enjoy the show. And you're out there again, and it's just
oh yeah, absolutely.
it's just
No, I dig it,
fun.
man. I can't wait to be a part of it. We've kind of been orbiting far out for a while, and now it's time to come on in and see what we can do a little bit. Like I said, um, we got some things coming up. We'll be able to make an announcement here pretty soon.
I'll be
As
looking
far as
for it.
another show that's coming out, and then we I don't know. I have to be patient. I have to be patient because uh, it's not just me. You know, there's other guys that are involved, and it takes time.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, it takes time. If you push too hard, people won't want it. If you don't push hard enough, you won't get there. It's a
it's a duality
it's a
of,
fickle beast.
oh yeah, because you want to try to, or like with what I do, like I'm trying to catch all the shows, but then I realize, okay, like I'm still posting shit from a year ago that I took, or I'm like, man, I gotta either calm down on one or start picking up on this other one, or start doing this, like trying to figure out where that balance is of how much time do I allow myself.
What you need is a younger family member that you can intern as a content media sponsor or a content media uh
Shit, half of them I can't get off their,
whatever
like,
media manager.
they're always on their phones or on the TVs watching like YouTube and stuff. And I'm like, why don't you go over to my channel and watch some stuff? Nah, because your dad. Well, screw you
Yeah.
too. I'm gonna just start making more content about you guys then. But like, yeah, find it like trying to figure out how to bring in views or bring in people that, like, the shorts and stuff have been, for me, a big boost because they get people coming to the page, and it's like, okay, go check out some of this other content I got on there. Go check out some of the other bands, or giving bands the opportunity to have a different group of people that they're seeing. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure I've got people on my timeline that are like, "Oh, great, he posted another video on 30 fucking sites again." Oh, he's sharing this for the 12th time. Okay,
But
cool.
that's how you have to do it, unless you're uh, paying a content sponsor, or you're paying to get those boosts. There's no other way around it. You
I'm
have to
I'm
you
a
have to
I'm a
you have
one
to go out
man
there and post
show.
it 100 times over.
I'm a one man show. I film the stuff, I photograph it, I edit it, I post it, I promote it. I might sleep in
Yeah,
there a time or two.
but but think about it. Like let's say 10, 15, 20 years from now that there is a well-established, almost Hollywood proportionate metal scene here in the Midwest, from you to us, but and everywhere in between. You know what I'm saying? Um, well, I kind of lost track where I was going with that, but um, I get excited talking about it. What it's going to take is bands being able to go out and grind and get their faces out there and get out there and over and over and over and over and play and having guys. Oh, this is where I was going. That's right. So let's say in 15 or 20 years, the metal scene has been well established and has grown, and it's its own thing now, right? And we rival with East and West Coast stuff. Let's say that's a pipe dream that actually comes to fruition. You and me and the boys from Love Like War and every other band that we've ever chummed around with down there, we are the guys laying the found. They are the guys laying the foundation of what that's going to be.
where
You
the
know what I'm saying?
standard
What's
is where
ultimately
the
going to
standard is
be
set.
its own mega metal entity. Like, where's the best metal come from? Midwest.
Go hit up this guy. Well, like
Yeah, yeah.
even
You know
with
what I'm
like
saying? Like where.
seeing all the sites that I'm on and everything. Like I know Matt from down in Wichita does a ton of stuff. He posts a lot of stuff and tries to help out bands. And I think there's one in Minnesota that I've seen, and those are like the only three that I've seen that are just consistently posting content for local
Uh,
bands. And I mean, not many people are doing it, and they always say find your niche and find everything like that. Well, I tried doing videos for like mainstream bands and it didn't even work for me. Like I got halfway through it, I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm
uh,
gonna go back and stick with the underground.
well, I have high hopes. I have high hopes for the future. We got a lot of energy with the group of the guys here that we've been at it for a while, and I think I think we're ready to get out there and kind of get our feet wet, so to speak. Um, Wichita metal scene is good and healthy.
Oh
Hearts
yeah,
beating well. Um, we hope to be able to kind of get in there and kind of get in that fold
you
and be
guys are
part
only
of
what
that.
like 45 minutes or so from there.
Yeah, about an hour north.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had to try to remember where. Like it's been a while since I've been down in that area, so.
We're just a little closer to Salina than Wichita by about
Oh, okay.
10 miles.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So right where 56 and 135s kick over. That's
yeah,
where we're at.
yeah.
But there's a
It's
lot of stuff going on here too. There's a lot of there's you can break it down into metal scenes, and then you get like it gets fractal. Like the farther you get into it,
oh
there's
yeah.
there's local bands here. There's guys that I've played with and guys that I'm friends with that are doing stuff here. It just I think all it would really take is the right person to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep shouting out into the universe.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. And yeah, it just all it takes is that one person to hear it, and then suddenly that band's and they're off, and you're like, I knew them before they
I,
got big. Or
right. But from where we're at, we have a ground floor view of 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 the foundations being laid for those things to happen. Like these the bands that are going to be established regional and national touring bands are guys that we call buddies right now.
oh yeah,
and they're working their way up to it. You know, like it's growing. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what's going to happen, and if we can all keep it together, I'm excited to see what's possible.
Oh, definitely. I'm hoping to be around long enough where I can see it. And I'm not having to have a walker and a wheelchair getting to shows.
I'll hobble my way in there. Get out of my way, you little bastard!
I'll make sure I got my cane so I can hit kids. Grandpa assaulted me. Yeah, well, you got in his way and he had to go pee. Somebody took his saline bag from him. That wasn't saline, that was vodka.
Oh no. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what our generations are like in their 60s and 70s.
We're probably going to still just be as crazy. It's just we're going to be a whole lot slower mobility.
Yeah. A little more mentally lapsed.
I remember seeing.
I'm sorry, I don't know where I am.
I know the music's loud, and I think I escaped from the home, so I'm out.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But
I feel bad for the old folks, people. They're gonna have a nightmare with us. We're gonna be like, "There's a show. Get the van." We're gonna
be. We have to lock us in every time there's a metal show anywhere within 10 miles.
Those fuckers stole the van again. You know where they went? Yeah, we got a good idea.
Yeah.
We're gonna go get them.
Trust.
Are you gonna go get them? Nah. I'm gonna pick them up about 1:30. They managed on stealing the vehicle and break it out, so we'll let them have their time. Are they safe?
Yeah.
They got canes. They're not gonna take any shit from anybody. We can't keep them in.
Well, here's to looking forward to that. That sounds like a good time.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna hop off here. I got some other stuff I gotta work on and get done, and we'll get this one posted here hopefully soon. And well, and I'll definitely be paying attention to
all the parts where I'm stupid.
I'll definitely be checking out to see when that show is. So hopefully, if it's like a Saturday, I can hit it up.
As soon as I'm allowed to say something, I will post it up on Sin&Scar on the Facebook on the group. I'll put it up on my Facebook. I do the same thing you do, man. I'll go out there and just hammer down. I bug people with it.
Put in the work. You got to do the grind. There ain't nobody gonna notice. All right. Well, it's good talking to you, and hopefully, I can meet you in person again. I'm pretty sure you were at the Spooky Hill Fest.
Yeah, I saw you there, but you were busy, and I didn't. We were like, hey, what's up? But yeah.
Yeah, I think it was one of those where it's like, wait a minute, I know that guy. I recognize that guy. I know that guy. But yeah, that show was something I tried a few different things with, and I still got a lot of work on that one to go because I recorded every band's full set, and it takes forever for my software to go through.
That's a lot of editing and getting it up.
But I mean, it helps bands out and it does what it needs to do. So
absolutely, it's a family, man. It's not just a network; it's a family of people doing things for everybody.
Oh yeah,
what everybody else is doing and promoting it.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, we'll definitely catch up with you here in person soon.
Yes, sir. Well, let me know anytime you're around in town. We'll hook up.
All right.
And as soon as I know something about a show, I will post it and I'll let you know personally.
All right. Sounds good. Well, you have a good one.
Right on, brother. Thanks for having me.
Always. Later.